place to be is living free in Tennessee.
Welcome to Living Free in Tennessee, where we talk about building the life you choose on your terms. Today is Friday, October 24th, 2025, and this is episode 1092 of Living Free in Tennessee. And do me a favor, if you are tuning in right now, let the folks on our social networks know that we're live, because I realized that I just went live without cutting and pasting the link because I was running home from the hairdressers today. So Pippinized Pack Rat, welcome. You're hearing me 5x5. Do me a favor, let folks on Telegram know that we are live and we're having our Homestead Happening show. Of course, I'm joined by Squeaks today, who is waiting for her bottle. She's actually pretty much learned how to eat wet cat food, but she has not, in fact, been stably doing that. So we feel like we're going to add a bottle. What do you think, Squeaks? Do you want a bottle? I'll also be joined by the Tactical Redneck today, but he's wandering around being a tactical redneck instead of joining the show, probably because he wants to support his lower back. Welcome, Michael, to the live stream. So what are we going to talk about? Well, this show is all about updates from the Holler Homestead. So are things a little different today?
I think they're always different.
Yeah.
In what way would you be referring to?
I feel like I look different this morning.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you guys why I look different this morning. Tonight at 7:30 is a concert for Master Singers. MasterSingersInc.com is where you can get tickets if you want to get them. They're $20 and it's a 1950s show. So I have 1950s hair and a 1970s dress on at this time. And I will have a poodle skirt on later tonight while we go and we do the show. It's our annual fundraiser and I'm looking forward to it. And I had to get a haircut anyway. So I was like, hey, could you put my hair up in the 1950s things? And she did. So it was kind of fun. What do you think? You like this look? Do you like any look? Do you even notice looks?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. When do you notice looks?
When it's that different.
This one's a lot different. So we're going to tease out my ponytail a little bit more tonight before we go, but my hair always flops down. So that's our featured event of today's show, 7:30 tonight in Cookeville, Tennessee. MasterSingersInc.com to get tickets or show up and buy them at the door, probably. We sold out of the dinner tickets, so now it's the show only and auction. There's a live auction that you can go and bid on and help us raise more money. In fact, there's Holler roast coffee and a farm-to-table dinner in that auction. Silent auction. I said live auction. It's a silent auction. Our also, when they had fins on cars, exactly. The sock hop. We should do a sock hop next year because last year we did a trip to the malt shop and it was all themed around, like candy sort of songs like sugar in the morning, sugar in the evening, sugar at supper time. That was not one of the songs they did, but that would have been an example. They did do lollipop. Lollipop, lollipop, oh, lolly, lolly, lolly. They did that one. So it's kind of a fun time of year. I was telling Mom, it's fun to do a whimsical concert with the choir. We do classical music, which I love, and that's why I'm in the choir. But every so often we do a jazz concert or a 50s concert. So today is 50s. Are you going to go? Nope, he's not going to go. I wasn't expecting him to, though.
I've got too much to do.
I think you're making that up. You do what you make time for.
Okay.
Anyway, we're going to talk about having too much to do on the homestead today. But before we do that, I want to thank two sponsors. The first sponsor is, well, here's the thing. If you are facing the following thing, where you are freeze drying food or drying food or need to store food, go to discountmylarbags.com and check out what they have. Toby sources things at the best prices he can get in bulk and then passes those savings on to you. And he has been supporting this show for a really long time. So check them out, discountmylarbags.com. Our second sponsor is somebody you know.
I know a lot of people.
John Pugliano from the Wealthsteading Podcast. The Wealthsteading Podcast is a great podcast. You can listen to it about once a week. He had a little laryngitis this month, so he didn't get all his episodes out this month, but they're about 15 minutes long. He talks about the state of the world, how he's making money management decisions, and just transparently shares what he's doing. And I think if you're going to check out his podcast, go back to the early episodes where he lays out his philosophy of investing and his principles for investing, because John is all about making money. So check that out. And he's not hiding how he does it from you. So check it out. The Wealth Studying Podcast, which you can download to any podcast catcher on your phone, or go to investablewealth.com, click on podcast, and that'll link you straight up to the episodes. What do you want to talk about first?
Wow.
What's it like to have a 1950s wife in the holler? There was no breakfast. It's not like that at all.
Yeah,
By the way, people are telling you that you need to calm down because you're way too amped up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's sarcasm. They had the little sarcasm emoji there.
Okay.
So
y'all have not seen the level of destruction that has occurred.
So Tactical insisted, instead of buying a roll of wire, on beating back the forest to run exposed wire to get electricity to the pasture. Is that in essence what you've been doing all morning?
It has to get beat back either way, regardless of what kind of wire gets run. So you may as well do the extra.
I was actually thinking anytime we jump like that where we're not going to run sheep, it actually does make sense to get that 500-foot roll of wire and have the insulated wire, because then if a branch falls on it, it's not shorting it out immediately.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Right. And sometimes it's better than all the time.
I am running underground wire where it makes sense to run underground wire. The problem with underground wire is you also have the risk of breaking the insulation on the wire, and then you ground the whole fence out.
Well, you can run underground wire overground, is my point. Like fence post to fence post.
Yeah. And you still have that risk.
It'll happen over time, but I was just thinking that wouldn't be a terrible way to do it.
Yeah, and I am using the underground wire where it makes sense to do so. I'm also trying to minimize how much, because it does reduce the effectiveness of the fence every time you put in an underground section.
Or a splice, you mean?
That too.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to minimize that, and also trying to troubleshoot underground stuff is a lot more difficult. Well, not a lot more difficult. It's more difficult than...
No, I'm talking about running underground wire overground, or not even underground wire, just insulated wire, which will last a few years till it breaks down, and then we have to replace it anyway. I know that.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The insulated wire you're talking about is an underground wire.
Right.
It's what it's called.
Right. And then if somebody touches it, they'll get shocked.
Where's the fun in that?
Did we mention that we are renting things temporarily to people who might not be country people here, who are coming for the farm experience? Now, so far, everybody that's come through has been more accustomed to the farm experience, but we don't need to give them that shocking experience out of the chute.
There's not any electric fence in places that those people should be. So if
I'd just let her play. Yeah.
If they get shocked, it's because they earned it by being somewhere they shouldn't.
So anyway, we've been rotating animals through. We had an Airbnb couple in, and the sheep were in their backyard, which can happen in our Airbnb, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and now it needs to kind of be mowed. I think did Nighthawk get in there and sand this morning? Yeah, he was going to, and then we're ready to hose off that side and start painting it, which I'm going to be trying to push us forward on that, even though I'm going out of town, because we're running out of time when it's warm enough for that to cure. So, and my approach to painting the whole house has been paint one side of the house. That's my only goal, one side of the house. Right? And then the next goal will be the next side of the house, and eventually 4 sides of the house get painted. Yeah. Ren and Stimpy, don't whiz on the electric fence. Yeah, you probably only do that once. Mona says fence shocks are part of the experience.
Should be.
Yeah. So we had a lot of fun talking about camping tents, but I realized what we need to do is get the things that we are ready to rent out in place and rented before we put a lot of energy into setting up something new over there. So I'm hoping we can get the camper moved soon, especially since I may have somebody who wants to be in it in November.
Okay.
So, but this morning I did send Tactical on a rabbit trail about carports. So tell me about the rabbit trail I sent you on this morning.
Well, I was looking at it and it's like, okay, the square tube framed carports, like, would it make sense to just buy the framing? Then it was like,
Comes with a roof.
It's a square piece of galvanized square tube stock. It's like, let me price that out and just see what it costs to buy a piece of galvanized square tube stock. So it's, I don't know. I've not reached a conclusion on anything yet, but
I'd like to find out if when they deliver that, it's in pieces or they deliver it and put it
Yes.
up for you.
I can pretty much guarantee you somehow or another, if you're having it assembled, you're paying for it, whether it's built into the price or whether it's an add-on fee.
Well, that's what I was trying to feel is if it's built into the price, then that's one assessment versus building it ourselves from raw materials. Yeah. But those would get we could replace the workshop building with one of those and put some sides on it. For example, we already have a pad down there. I could put one over the swim spot and then it wouldn't get snowed and rained on all summer or winter. I mean, it doesn't snow much in the summer here. And then we were kind of talking about some other places, like not that we're running down this road, but I totally got targeted by an ad today that worked. And then it sent him down a bunny hole. So we're in that place on the homestead where this is an existing homestead that had infrastructure that was already old when I got here. And it's kind of like a game of every time you fix something, 4 other things end up messed up. So we're trying to get through methodically, but sometimes it's just like the easy button would be get a metal building put in and it's like done.
Yeah, I have to fight the logic side of my brain on that because I actually understand to an extent like the problems with temperature and heat conduction and all of that. And it's like, but then my brain also goes into a rabbit hole of the problem is the solution, and can you do that in such a way to where it actually vents the heat? It's like, that's an interesting thought process that my brain wants to tear.
Well, I mean, Jack Spirko's garage where he does classes is completely a metal framed building, like we're talking about. And it has insulation on the inside.
Yeah.
So does it get hot and cold in there? Yes. Does it get as hot and cold in there if it was just a piece of metal? No. And does it serve its function? Yes. And when I think about some of the functions we have to serve here, that's why I was kind of going down. Like, even if we build a barn, we could do a metal building pretty easy.
Yeah.
And, it may not be all of the natural building practices we want, but it would get the thing done.
Yeah.
So lots of discussions like that, none of which are being acted on right now because what we need to do is get the camper in place and decide if we're turning that other thing into a camper cabin, right?
Okay.
Isn't that what we were talking about in June?
I thought we were doing that.
Yeah, we haven't done it yet. So
I know we haven't.
It's just about like, how hard would it be to move the cabin at this point? Are we dry enough?
You mean the camper?
Camper, yeah. The cabin's already been moved. And thank you, Red Flyer Media, for loving the 50s pinup look. Are you going to answer my question?
It's probably dry enough right now. I need a weed eat up there, and theoretically we can move it.
Mm-hmm.
And pray to God we can get the truck out.
Yeah. Do we need somebody on like speed dial with a tractor to do that?
No. There's going to be a certain level of, if I can't get the truck out, we're either backing the camper back out or figuring out how to get the truck out, because the problem with the truck is not getting stuck. It's bottoming the truck out, and the tractor does nothing for you in that situation.
Okay. Is there anything we can do to reduce? Are you worried about going up over the lip of the rock?
Going out.
Okay.
I don't know how much ground clearance we're going to have to get the truck out. So it might be we're cutting the goat fence out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know yet. I'm not going to know until we actually try it.
Okay. Red Flyer Man says, I've missed part. Where is it moving to? So the camper is moving above my house onto a gravel pad that we have for it. And then we have to run electricity to it so it can be used. And I would love it if it could be used this winter, because we can heat it right now, but it's not doing well with the air conditioner. So cooling it's a problem, which means it's not a good summer solution until we fix the air conditioning, which is a whole nother thing. But getting these things in place makes it easier for me to list them on Airbnb or vacation rental by owner. Or if we're having an event and somebody says, do you have a place you recommend to stay? I can say, I have a camper and these are the terms of the camper, that sort of thing. So it's been coming together. Like, we started trying to do this in June and it is now October. And I feel like we've made good progress, but I also feel like we're stalling out on the projects of the glamper being in place and rentable, which is, if we can even get $50 a night for that, that's instant money. And at this time of year, people are coming through the area and hiking and things who might be okay with staying in a camper and taking a shower in an outdoor shower or shower house, which is the other challenge there. Or there's just no shower while they're here. That's the time of year we're running into now. But then also there's a storage building we've used for storing feed. That's, what is it? It's 8 by 16 or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, or 10 by 16 or 10 by 20. I don't know. It's not 20. But we can put a bed in there and we can plug it in and have power there. And so if we want to heat it in the winter, it could. It's better insulated than the camper is. And again, it's like you walk to the outhouse if you got to go, and is what it is. And if people rent it, great. And if they don't, then whatever. The reason I keep asking about that camper cabin is that it is a feed storage cabin right now. And I'm pretty sure we need the feed storage cabin to be a feed storage cabin at this time.
Well, we're not actually storing that much feed in there, so it's a matter of figuring out the little bit of feed that is getting stored in there. Where does it go?
Yeah, or is it better to keep it there for the winter and re-engage on this for the spring?
Yeah, I don't know.
After, for example, putting a carport building in down where the workshop is and then having feed storage down there, or doing the barn.
Okay.
Ideas. This is just ideas. But so the problem with this conversation is it goes like this every time, is it's like circular kind of, right?
Yeah.
Because then it's like, okay, then what do we do with the stuff that's in there? So other than that, we got a little bit of frost last night, and I should be harvesting my sweet potatoes today. But since we have a 50s concert tonight, I'll probably try to get those in the morning tomorrow before I go out to the Eversouls meetup. So anybody who's going to the Eversouls meetup, I'll see you there. I've got somebody who wants to meet me and pick up some milk kefir grains. Tactical is not going to the meetup, right? You're going to stay here?
Yeah, I don't have much of a choice.
Okay. Like, I could stay here. You could go.
Somebody gotta stay here.
So, I mean, we need
all be me because I can actually get some stuff done.
Okay. We're going to day trip because we need to get back to feed the kitten.
thought that was part of the reason I was staying, because I can feed the kitten.
Because she doesn't take the bottle from you very well.
Yes, she does.
Well, anyway, so that's happening. And I think it's great to make time for the community things. How's the rabbit breeding going?
Not moved them over yet.
Would you like help from me doing that?
If you want to take it, go for it.
No, I mean, would you like help? Two of us doing it. See, it's a better two-person. See, that's a better two-person job.
That's an easy one-person job.
Well, except for the doors and the cutting edges of the roofing.
That's not an issue for me.
Okay, it is for me. It's easier to have an extra hand to open and close the doors. And then the two hands holding the rabbit.
I'm not going to say it's not easier with two people, but...
I said it's an easier two-person job. Would you like my help? That means two of us do it. That was the question I asked.
I almost did it this morning.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Yeah.
The only reason I didn't is because I was already a little behind schedule, and so I was just trying to bang through getting morning stuff done.
Mm-hmm. That's it. So what else is going on?
Oh, my life is, the last 2 days has been consumed with fencing.
Your life is always consumed with fencing.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you say that like it can't be changed, but I feel like whenever you say that can't be changed, I feel like we haven't figured it out, that you're being defeatist.
I am not being defeatist at all. And when I say that, like, there is a certain aspect of, I am tired of stretching new fencing and ripping old fencing out of the ground. But I am a breath away from being able to power up the pasture off of a fence charger over here.
Are we getting a new fence charger?
Probably.
Okay. We have a Cyclops here, right?
If I switch, I'm switching to the biggest fence charger that they make.
Okay. You know, I think they're based out of Tennessee, aren't they?
I can't remember if they're Tennessee or Georgia or something.
I feel like they're in Tennessee near Centerville somewhere.
I can't remember.
Okay. And then we're going to keep the other Cyclops as a backup in case the big Cyclops goes down?
Yeah.
The cool thing about the Cyclops fence chargers is that they're built to be repaired, which means, so they have, like, we had that fence demo, and he was talking about how the Cyclops, because we've all kind of moved from Premier to Cyclops chargers, and it's because they don't break as much. Have we ever broken the Cyclops? No. But they have fuses too. So if there's a surge, the fuse blows, right? So if lightning hits it, I assume, I don't know, that's never happened to us, that fuse blows instead of the whole charger. Maybe, I mean, it probably depends on how much is going through there, to be transparent about that. But it has two fuses that you can change, and they ship it with fuses taped next to where the fuses go, so that when the fuse goes, you have your extra fuse right there out of the box. And then if you have to ever change a fuse, you're like, oh, I used the fuse. Now I need to go get another fuse. And from a functionality on a farm or homestead standpoint, that's great, because when your fence charger is down, it's not fun. One of the things I think you need to have redundancies on is a fence charger. Yeah. Because otherwise, it's like I have to drive to the store to get the thing, right? But also my animals can get out because the fence charger's out. So the Cyclops has really been a good addition to what we're doing. But then also they have great customer service. So they shipped us the wrong thing last year, and we called them. We're like, this isn't the one we wanted. We need the other one. But we were able to jury rig it to use it because we actually needed to use it. And they said, yeah, just use that one. We'll ship the replacement, and then you can ship it back. No big deal. Yeah. And no harm, no foul. Like, not mad at us, because then it's a used charger, right? It's not like they can turn around and sell it for free. So yeah, probably some employee got a really good deal on a fence charger.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Another thing that I really like about them is the fact that their fence charger does not have any bells or whistles. There's no Bluetooth connection, no 15 different settings in case, you know, you want to have a different setting for this kind of day or a sunny day or a cloudy day. It's just, it plugs into the wall. Like, that's it. Like, the only feature that I might want on there that's not on there is an on-off switch. But that's about it. Like, I didn't think you could actually go simpler, so simple that it actually irritated me. Like, that is the thing that I like about them.
And that's an underserved market in our network, is the simple, repairable, durable items. So it's like a refrigerator that just refrigerates, or a dishwasher that just dishwashes, or a washing machine that just washing machines, without a whole bunch of songs being played. Like, I have a dryer that plays a jig every time it's done. I don't really need the jig. In the old days, there was like a ding, where it actually was a mechanical ding as the dial timer went past the mechanical dingy thingy. That's the official term, is dingy thingy, just so you know. And I wonder, as the homesteading movement gains momentum, who's going to fill that market?
Nobody.
I think somebody will.
Yeah, I don't know. I just had a whole conversation about clothing and the lack of function in clothing.
Duluth was trying to fill that, and then they backed off on quality.
No, they've gone to fashion just like everybody else.
But that means there's an opening again, because a lot of us who are like super wildly supportive of Duluth through that got our brand loyalty feelings hurt when they went to plastic fabrics and reduced quality, which they're doing for financial reasons. Because I feel like the jeans I just bought that are getting returned for, I don't know, $70 are probably, in the old materials, probably $100 or $120 jeans. I'd rather spend $120 on a pair of jeans that lasts me 2 years or a year even, than get crap that lasts me 3 months for $70 and feels like wearing a plastic bag. So I think, so then there's an opening. I'm not the only one who feels this way.
No, there's a lot of people that feel that way, and every industry is going in the same direction as far as that's concerned. Everything is going in the direction of fashionable and disposable.
Well, it's been going that way, but there's a market that is underserved for durable goods. So the coffee tins I'm getting, right? So Holler Roast is starting to have an option where you can get your coffee in a tin, kind of like this, right? This is not the tin, but this was me testing the packaging, because ours is in the printing right now, you know, with like a lid, like the old days, right? This is made in America. This tin is made at their factory. Like, they do the printing, they do the pressing of the tin and the forming of the tin. I'm going to guess this lid probably is not made in America, but I don't know. I can ask them. And it's durable and high quality. Yeah, it might be. This could be, because we know plastic people. But that's something I wasn't necessarily looking for, but when I found out, I was like, oh, that's why it's the turnaround time for getting them produced is 2 to 3 weeks, which means it's not being shipped over from China. But also, it's a durable, like, this isn't a chintzy tin.
No.
So,
I mean, this is the kind of thing that you would keep to put other stuff in.
Well, yeah, it's a really good nuts and bolts organizer. Do you need it?
No.
You could, like, that's the only time I'm ever allowed to do that on this one. I was going to film, like, pulling it open as part of the promo, but yeah. The foil lid. And I think with coffee in there, it'll go, because there'll be the CO2 buildup. And there's a CO2 valve on the lid that it doesn't let oxygen out, but CO2 can get out. And I think that happens because the molecular level of the CO2 is maybe smaller. I don't know. It lets CO2 out, but it'll still build up some pressure in here before it pushes out through that. And then it goes when you open it. I can't wait till I get to hear that noise. Anyway, I am that market. My customers are that market. Y'all listening to this podcast are probably that market. What else is frustrating to you that it just wears out? And who's going to start the business? That's why I like the Featherman products. Those are really well made.
Well,
There's another chicken processing brand out there. I forget what they're called. Anyway, farmer chicken, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But these things are put together in a way that they're durable. I think even Harvest Right's trying to do that, but they are dependent on Chinese parts.
yeah.
Like the problem with my roaster is it's dependent on Chinese parts and I need to get elements. And at some point, like I might have to rebuild another roaster and that one's pretty durable based on the torture it gets roasting coffee, right?
Yeah.
And it is off the shelf parts I can buy, but part of the reason I didn't buy the Mexican roaster that was the one that was everybody was buying was that it's not easy if for some reason I can't get parts. I was talking to another roasting builder who manufactures in Kansas about his roasters, and I was trying. He does all his metal work in the U.S., but I think he ends up by necessity using parts in China. And the answer wasn't really clear, and it wasn't that important because I wasn't that serious about buying it yet. But at some point, I'm going to need to upgrade the roaster again, and we've got to figure out what to do because my roaster guy doesn't do roasters anymore, which was bound to happen. But he definitely got me through a phase of the business, and this roaster is something that we can repair between the two of us. It's usually a matter of finding the part, looking at the wiring for which there is no wiring diagram, hearing a couple of frustrated exclamations from the redneck, and then we figure it out. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, and half the time it's like I need to know which wires I need to take what reading on and what reading or what the reading is supposed to be.
Yeah. So we should start videoing that because at some point we're not going to be able to call Marty.
You know.
Yeah. So because he's deep into his retirement now. Not that I think he's going to kick it, but just like his head is elsewhere. I think if he could go travel around the world for a while, he would. So, and then he'll be hard to reach. Anyway, AI alleges that Cyclops fence charges originate from Asheville, Alabama, and that's probably true. I don't know why I thought Tennessee, but
Alabama sounds right.
Yeah, Alabama does sound right. And it's, driving distance to Self-Reliance Festival. So they should totally sponsor the Self-Reliance Festival.
I tried to ask them if they would.
Yeah.
Apparently they don't do a lot of that anymore.
Yeah, well, we can ask them again. We are the right network. I mean, if nothing else, coming up and having a presence there would be good for them. If they want to sell to 350 homesteaders who need a fence charger that doesn't break.
No.
Yeah. But they may be finding better ways to sell than that. Who knows? It is a lot of work to be in person.
They're just that busy.
Yeah, that could be. Well, that's because their product's good. Back to my statement that there's a market for that.
That, and they will also spend 45 minutes on the phone with you to help you troubleshoot something.
Yeah. So really around here, what we're doing is transitioning into colder weather. So we had an almost frost last night. We've had my first fire. I've had 2 fires now. This one's currently going out behind us, which makes Mom sad because it's 66 degrees in here. Mm-hmm. Yep. And moving firewood around. Pip and I says, I wouldn't mind Thomas Massey coming to speak at SRF. Neither would I. I did ask him last year and he didn't answer, which is not a critique of him at all. Like last year was a hard year for him and he's busy. And I feel like I have to get that question to him in person before I email it, or I have to find out if somebody books him. But I don't know that it's that easy to get him to speak places outside of what he's already committed to. I know that like John Moody's gotten him to speak at Rogue Food Conference, but my theory on folks like Massey is you just keep asking and they either eventually answer you or they don't. Or if I run into him in person, I can say, hey, I would love for you to speak at this festival. I'll send you an email. It just takes time. And the problem with SRF is his primary base is in Kentucky, and our event is not in Kentucky. Pipiness is like, oh gosh. I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, I ask some key people on the regular if they'll speak at Self-Reliance Festival. We're actually getting ready to launch speaker applications for 2026. I don't know who the core lineup is, though. I may just ask everybody to tell me who they want and see if we can raise enough money to pay the people who they want. So Hit Him 20 says, just switched to Brave Star raw denim for my jeans and have been using 60/20 work pants for a couple of years and love them. Very pricey. And for me, it's not the price, right? I do want it to fit. So, and I am willing to alter my pants if I need to. So part of my issue is just like, I wasn't really excited about altering pants, but then I went through a whole new search for different jeans after the Duluth stopped carrying the ones I wanted. And I tried on Wrangler and all sorts of different brands. And there was a constant influx of jeans and outgo of jeans. Remember that time this summer? Yeah. And finally I found some, but they were like 2.5 inches too long. And so I got the shorter inseam. And they came, and the waist was also 2.5 inches shorter. And I have a long waist. So then it didn't hit me right. And so then I went back and got the ones that were too long, and then we hemmed them. And in fact, at Self-Reliance Festival, I now have 4 pair of these. At Self-Reliance Festival, Lonnie and Opalyn were doing the last 2 pair for me. Thanks, guys. Because I ran out of time. But, you know, I have them hemmed in such a way I could let them back out and be long, because I just didn't feel like doing the proper jeans double roll sewing machine hem on them. I was like, I can just, like, who cares? I don't care that much anymore. I think I used to care about things like that a whole lot more. And those are just a set of jeans. I can't remember the brand off Amazon. My one complaint is the pockets aren't as deep as I'd like them to be, but at least the fabric they're made out of feels like cotton, and the pockets feel durable on the inside. Because my other issue with the Duluth newer fabric is it's like putting your hand into a pair of pantyhose, kind of like thick pantyhose or tights, and it's not a very comfortable feel on the skin. And then also it feels so thin that I'm afraid if I put something in the pocket, it's going to come out of the pocket by going through the pocket. So that's been my issue. But I do like the thing I like about Duluth is I can put my hand all the way up to the wrist and below into the pocket, even though it makes my hips look bigger. But I can put things in my pocket and they don't fall out, unlike lame-ass girl pockets of all other jeans. But the ones I found on Amazon, I can get my hand to here, to like just where the wrist starts, and I just would love like another couple inches. And it's possible I will just sew those at some time. We'll see. But then you have extra seams in your pocket. So that's the deal. He's had trouble finding a jacket he can wear because he's 6'4" and skinny. And so he can get one long enough, but then it's like he can fit a second redneck in his jacket because it's too big around. And so he was talking about having one custom made for his size. Now, I know he's not the only tall, skinny guy who works on a homestead. So again, especially with the capacity to do small scale production, I wonder if you find a design that works, if we do a run at the local sewing factory and try to sell them. Tactical jackets. If not, you end up with 20 jackets. Or what? I don't know what their minimum run is, but I can ask them. Did you know we have a clothing manufacturer in Smithville, Tennessee?
Oh.
Yeah, they're right next door to 911. I read an article. I don't know, like they were doing uniforms, and then they started doing spin up fashion where people do small runs at the boutiques. And I don't know what their capacity is on actual warm jackets. And then you have to source all the fabrics that you want.
Yeah, that's less of an issue because I've actually put in a
you could probably ask John Willis about zipper idea, because the other thing is, if it's going to have a zipper, what sort of which zippers are durable, because his zippers on his bags last really well. I've not had a problem with any of his zippers falling apart. And that's something that, like, at this point, I've had my earliest gear from Special Operations Equipment since 2020. So We're 5 years in, and then I am hard on things. And the only thing I've had go wrong with anything was a strap fell off my backpack and I haven't found it. And at some point we're going to see a black strap around that I'd really like to have back on my backpack. But that wasn't a quality thing. That was I think I got it caught on something walking by, or I don't know. Like I was at the airport and like with his day pack, it's got like the hip thing. And then it has a thing here that puts on your sternum, puts a little pressure, right?
Yeah, the sternum strap.
My sternum strap came off. I have a half a sternum strap right now. So I need to look for, and that's probably one of those random straps I've seen sitting around the house.
Probably.
Yeah. And I don't know how it happened. But like never had a zipper break. You don't have his stuff unravel. So there's another example of something you can get that isn't just going to fall apart. Actually, that's another US manufacturer. And I know he sources his fabrics probably from overseas. I know sometimes he's had issues sourcing the quality he wants, but he's super picky about that.
Yeah.
And I'm just tired of the breaky.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of the breaky. I also have a car that may or may not explode in the next couple months.
Yeah.
I tried to make it explode today. It did not. But it does smell like transmission fluid, but then also you accidentally overfilled it a little bit. So it might just be that it smells like transmission fluid.
I mean, radiator fluid.
That stuff, yeah. Sorry, coolant. I did mean radiator fluid. Beth Emily says, I hear you about the deep pockets. So yeah, it's time to harvest what we can harvest from the garden. How cold is it going to get tonight?
Like 40.
Yeah, so we probably won't freeze tonight. So I think I can put it off till tomorrow morning, and I just have to get it done before I go to the Eversoles. And then I also need to roast coffee before the Eversoles, and also somebody's picking up their lamb tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So we're down to, we sold 8 sheep for meat to people, like whole and half animals, and we're down to the one that you're going to meet somebody when you're over near Dixon.
Yeah.
Getting the pig. And then I have 2 halves, one of which goes to Lebanon. And he was like, I'm sorry, I haven't picked it up yet. I'm like, listen, your half animal is not a problem in my freezer at this time. And then the one that's going home to California with mom to be, because somebody in California is getting that one.
Nice.
So yeah, pretty much all the sheep have been processed and picked up within 2 weeks, which is pretty, it's like, it's not just languishing in my freezer, which is good. So I don't know why that happens. Drives me nuts. So yeah, y'all, Tennessee humans seem not good with vehicles. Kerry Brown was just saying he had an issue with the Jeep steering gearbox. Yeah, so my car is a 2013. And the problem with my car is it's a 2013 with 160 something thousand miles on it. And it's a Subaru. And even though they say Subarus don't break, they're wrong. Subarus do break. In fact, what the reason I haven't put much into the Subaru is at some point that head gasket's going to go unless it's already been replaced, which I don't think it has, but maybe it was. Don't know the history because I got it used. And if it has, then I'm not worried about it blowing. But around about 140,000 miles, Subarus go through head gaskets. And that turns into a $3,000 to $6,000 project.
Oh.
So I've been like, well, do I need tires or am I just driving? So anyway, and so far it hasn't gone. But when mom said it was smoking the other day, I was like, oh crap, there went the head gasket. And then my first question to him when I saw him was, is there water in the oil? He said no. So I was like, okay, well, that's good. That probably means I didn't blow a head gasket then. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Jeep, I'm just still in the process of working through known issues.
Yeah, and then we got to take on the Chevy. He doesn't want to think about the Chevy, but when the Chevy is dealt with and gone, he'll be happy that he doesn't have to look at it.
Yeah.
So at some point, we got to do that.
Yeah, I've got enough other things to worry about than that one.
Yeah, like hanging the TV today.
I was going to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
And other stuff in the basement.
Yeah, the big thing is hanging the TV and getting the shelf under it so I can take a picture.
Yeah.
The other stuff's not getting done unless you and Mom do it before I leave for my concert, but she is going with me to my concert.
Yeah, it's not likely to happen today.
We can't get the TV up?
Well, I'm saying we get the TV
Yeah.
up, but all the rest of the stuff that needs to happen in that basement, you need to be in there for.
Yep. So if Nighthawk's around, so what we're talking about, guys, is we have a classroom in the basement over at base camp that is usually just set up, but for Self-Reliance Festival, we use the TV from there that's for presentations, and we bring it to Self-Reliance Festival for presentations, which is cool. And there's a black set of shelves that you would have seen at Self-Reliance Festival under the TV where we put the giveaway items. That goes under the TV. And then we put like these church chairs up, like you'd sit in at church with like a little hymnal pocket on the back. And those are all stacked right now down there. And then because we got back from Self-Reliance Festival, Mom just finished resetting the event supply trailer with an inventory. And then there's things in the basement that we took out of that before SRF that we did not need at SRF that can go back in the trailer. But also some of them we're just getting rid of because I don't think I need 20 round tablecloths or 10 round tablecloths for anything that are black right now. Yeah. I don't have round tables. So, and that was just specific to SOE that we had those, and we're not doing SRF at SOE. So I'm wanting to get rid of them. I'm going to talk to some people I know who do events who have round tables to see if they want them. And then if not, we're just going to sell them. So that just means there's bins in the basement in the way of putting the chairs out. And then all of our pop-up tents, various pop-up tents we use are in there and not where they get stored permanently. And that all makes it hard for me to take a picture of the classroom, but we rent base camp as an event space. And I have somebody who wants to do a class there who needs to see what it would look like before she makes up her mind for sure, which is totally understandable. And it's like, well, I can get pictures of the upstairs because it's set for the Airbnb, because Airbnb people don't have access to the basement, but the basement looks like a basement right now because it's got bins and whatnot. So yeah. Poultry Man and Ashley. So I was thinking of Poultry Man, Emily, besides Featherman for the affordability. So next week, I think we're going to be picking up a whole pig that we bought from Hofgrid Meat Company, which is Emily Hoff, who you are seeing in the comments right now. And I bring this up because they are in pig processing season and they regeneratively pasture raise their pork. And it's pretty standard at this time of year that farmers are going through the processing part of that process, because you don't want to keep the bulk of your pig flock alive in the winter when they're burning all the calories. And also at this time of year, the temperature drops. So if you were like more traditional and processing your animals at this time of year, it's colder outside, which means you don't have to move as fast when you're processing the meat. They, however, are taking them to, you can choose USDA or not USDA to get processed. They sell them by the piece. So they do the USDA processing and they distribute at a variety of different farmers markets. But I reached out to her and I was like, hey, would you just sell me a whole? And they have like a per pound price on the hoof, which is how you're required to do it in Tennessee for a whole pig. And then I just did the cut sheet with the butcher. And I don't know, we find out today if we can pick it up early next week. And then that's going to fill our freezers up again. So it's good that the sheep are out of the freezer because some pig is going back in. And she raised a pretty hefty pig there, I noticed.
Didn't see.
So I plan to do, so the member webinars for the rest of the year are going to get sent out. And one of the ones I'm going to do is, so you bought a whole pig, now what? That's going to be the webinar. And I'm going to talk about the process of buying a whole or half animal, when you're faced with a cut sheet, what things mean. We're going to talk about choices you can make that brings the butchering price down, right? And things like, you can pay the butcher to make the bacon, or you can make the bacon. I make the bacon. So I just want the whole pork belly, as it's going to come frozen. You have to defrost it, and then you cut it into the size you want. You weigh it, you do your curing. That's a really easy way to shave down the price. Plus, you can dial in the flavor you want, and you also know you're getting the belly from your animal, because I think some processors sort of have a rotation going, right? I don't know about this processor, but you can have them make your sausage by mixing spices into the sausage, or you can have your own spice blend and mix it yourself. You can have them make the beef patties on a cow, or you can make your own beef patties. Every time the processor is doing extra work or extra cuts, it costs more money. All of them have a minimum. It's like a pig is X, maybe 100, 150 bucks is the minimum for the pig. And then it's partially often by weight and by the number of cuts. If you package your ground meat in bigger packages, they're happier. If you want fancy cuts, what you want to do is talk to them and say, I want this one fancy cut that's not on your cut sheet. Can you do it? If so, how do you do it, right? I get the testicles of the sheep, which is not something standard on a cut sheet. And I had to go talk to them and say, can we have the testicles? Because you're just going to throw them away. And they actually skinned them for us and packaged them so you could make lamb fries. But I just wanted them, they don't even need to skin them in my book.
No.
But keeping the testicles, if they skin them, is an extra fee, right? And so you're like, but wait, they were just going to throw it away. But it takes time, and they put it in a plastic bag, right? So that's what the webinar is going to be. But I bring up the Off-Grid Meat Company right now, and whole and half pigs. I don't know if she's selling half pigs, but probably. But I would say if what you want to do is get a bunch of pork in your freezer, and you're interested, it wouldn't hurt you to reach out to Emily Hoff at Hoff-Grid Meat Company and see if she has any available, because it is kind of nice to get exactly the cuts you want. And this is the time of year to do that. Like, our cows will be here in December, probably. So that's a good time of year to do it. And then it's a time of year when you're not struggling with your garden, that if you have extra time, you can actually make the breakfast sausage you want, make the bratwurst you want, those sorts of things. So that's going to be the member webinar in December, is So I Bought a Whole Pig Now What? And I think I'm going to do pig and cow separately, because it's slightly different things. But if I can put them together in one, I will. But that experience of buying a whole animal, I will say this, for regeneratively raised meat, it's helpful to the budget versus buying by the piece, right? But it's not going to be cheaper than cheap Walmart bulk, whatever pork. It's just not. You're paying for a product that was organically, lovingly, rotationally raised by hand by a family in the hills of Tennessee, of West Tennessee. And that is a different quality of meat, a different experience. And for me, from a consumer standpoint, I do notice a difference when I'm eating store meat versus the farm raised meat that we get. Yeah. We still eat store meat because we don't always have all farm raised meat, but I tend to get more gas, if just to say it bluntly, from other ones. And I don't know why that is, but it just is. It may just be that it's around longer, but I actually think the quality of the meat's better. So check them out, Hoff-Grid Meat Company. Just since I saw her there, I thought I meant to say that anyway, because next week he's driving to go get it. She was willing to pick it up for us, but we need to get feed over there anyway. And it makes more sense not to have to gum up her freezers if we can avoid it. And then he can pick that up. But on his way out, we also have a lamb customer who's out that direction. So she's been texting me when I need to plan. So we're trying to get, it's going to be a big day for Tactical, because it's going to be bring a lamb, meet up with a person, get the feed, get the pig, come home, unload the pig. And the unloading of a whole animal is something that you need to be aware of what that's going to look like, which is why I'm doing that webinar. Yeah. I thought that would be a fun one. And members, if you're listening, you're going to be getting an email about the webinars for the rest of the year, but also I'm asking you which topics you want for 2026, because our plan is by about December 15th at the latest to have the entire 2026 webinar schedule set. And then if like something comes up and somebody breaks a leg or whatever, we have to shift it, we can. But that way, you know which ones to choose and you know what's coming. And then you're not like, oh man, I wanted the So You Bought a Whole Pig webinar, but I already used my 2 webinars because that solar one looked really good. Yeah, that's the deal. That's my homestead update for the week. I mean, the food good this week, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Last night, the duck was not defrosted, so we had ham.
Still having ham.
We were snacking on ham while we had the show, but I had a pre-cooked ham that's from the store. Soon I will have a ham from a pig I bought from Hoff-Grid Meat Company. Anyway, we had a ham from the store and the duck had not defrosted. I had a great meeting with Sandy from the East Tennessee Homestead Alliance and got home. Like when I'm gone all day like that, I get home and like the first thing I want to do is not a lot of things. Anything. But I had a really good meeting with her and then the duck was not defrosted and I was like, oh, I was going to roast this duck for dinner, which is a great way to have an impressively delicious meal without a lot of work. But we ended up, it wasn't defrosted enough from the freezer and I didn't want to try to push it and I didn't want to have dinner at midnight. So we had this ham and I boiled beans out of the jar that I canned and spiced them up and served ham that I hunked off a ham and just heated in a cast iron skillet. And Mama Sauce made a carrot salad and that was it. Took almost no time. I was like, that was I should hunk up the rest of that ham in meal appropriate sizes as a backup plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we haven't even gotten into that country ham over there. Have they seen my country ham?
I'm sure you showed it.
Okay. You want to show him again? He doesn't want to get up. I'm willing to get up, but then you guys can't see my wonderful 50s ponytail hairdo. This I got to serve at the Holler Hub when we do events and whatnot. And it's actually time to get it cut up and used. So when you buy that, it's from, I can't remember the company, but they're in Murfreesboro. When you buy one of those, they actually say they'll cut it up for you for free. So I could travel to Murfreesboro to cut it up, but I'm actually going to look, I'm going to call them and say like, do you have special tools for that? Or can I just cut it? Because I mean, how hard can it be? It can be hard if the ham is hard to cut. Like I know from having that one year we did the Spanish ham for the Christmas event. That was hard to cut, but I eventually got it done. But you had to have, like they included a knife and the knife they included didn't work very well. And I finally just used my bread knife from Amway, which has gotten me out of a lot of problems. Mom probably regrets giving me the Amway knife set because that knife has gotten me out of so many problems. And it's a bread knife, but it's serrated. So yeah. What else you got to share before we wrap up? Anything?
Oh, baby ducks.
Oh, how are the baby ducks?
They're 3 weeks old. They were making lots of noise. And they have hit the phase of cruising through water.
That's good.
So they just got upgraded to the big girl water.
Okay.
So
are they about ready to go have big girl outside experiences? Are they girls or boys?
I don't know.
Okay.
Hoping they're girls.
Yeah, me too. At least one of them looks like she might be a girl, but one of them might be a boy.
Yeah, I don't know, but I want to figure out some way of setting them up in the duck coop, but staying separate from everybody else so that they can get out of the bin on my back porch. But
that means you want to scoop the coop too, don't you?
I need to do that. I've needed to do that for a little bit.
There will be a Johnson Suk bioreactor demo here that involves scooping the coop sometime in the next 2 weeks.
Well, that's
because that's where it's going, right?
Yeah, I'm going to do it a little bit differently than the one that's up here. What?
I like that one.
Okay, you'll probably like this one too.
Okay.
But I'm going to experiment with trying to make that a little bit simpler.
Okay. Why is that hard?
Let's-
I'm curious what you're. Okay. So this is not me challenging you. Oh, really? An innovation we're testing. What is the innovation, Tactical? That's what the intention of that question is, just so you don't feel like I'm attacking you. Because somebody got really mad that I attack you all the time because we just discuss things like normal people directly.
So we have 2 IBC totes that have been sitting for.
Now I know why there's an
Ever.
IBC graveyard at your house.
Yes.
Okay.
So I pulled the framing off, and as soon as I have the available time, I am going to do the same thing done to this one with the screen and the weed cloth, but using the frame for that's a little bit more rigid.
So then you just have to get the rounds to keep the 12 inches.
Well, that's the other part of the experiment is I have a drain sleeve for a French drain, which is basically like 100-foot tube of weed cloth that's 4 inches in diameter
Around a plastic thingy with holes
around
in
a
it.
piece of PVC with holes in it. And I've got to double check my measurements, but theoretically, 2 of those where the crossbars are on the top of those frames will be sufficient for the airflow. So theoretically, you'll have the tube sitting in there strapped to that piece of frame.
Well, we need
and nothing will
no more
move.
than 12 inches of compost before it touches. That's what
Yeah.
you're talking about? Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. Is it's like, I think it was like 38 inches across or something like that, and you divide that in 2, divide it by 2 again, plus the 4 inches of pipe. It's like it would end up being like 10 inches or something.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly, but theoretically it won't be any more
I feel
than
like it's going
12
to take
inches.
4 of those.
I thought so too, and then I did the math, and I was like, it should be able to be done with 1, but I got to double check the math again.
Yeah. And then the other thing is we could just get the PVC we already have and hold it and measure and double check from a tactile standpoint. Not tactical, tactile.
Yeah.
Anyway, so apparently we're doing a great Johnson Zoo experiment sometime in the next 2 weeks. If anybody wants to come help Tactical do that, let me know. Nicole@livingfreeintennessee.com. I'll be gone. I'm going to be at Jack Spirko's. So literally, you're just helping him if you come out. And Mama Sauce will be here, so you might get some snacks while you're here. Just depends on how she's feeling that day, right, Mama Sauce? Right. Okay, guys. If you like the show and want to support the work we're doing here, you know we do it in a few ways. One, get your pork at Hofgrid Meat Company. No, I'm just doing that. Like, seriously, guys, now is the time to buy from Emily. And I don't think she'll be sad if people buy from her. So and she's one of our network people. She's doing some of the meats in our farm to table dinner. I've actually really enjoyed getting to know her over the last couple of years, and I have enjoyed buying her products. I will say that, rather than growing all of our meat ourselves. Anyway, get your coffee at hollerroast.com. We are rolling out the tin feature. I am behind on web rollout, and before I finish making the add-on on the cart, because the tins aren't here yet anyway, I am making sure the Self-Reliance Festival videos are up for the digital pass holders. So that's like my immediate goal is that, which is over at homesteadskills.academy is where those are going to be hosted. But if you want to buy digital passes, that's at selfreliancefestival.com. With that, come out to a 50s show tonight. Go out, make it a great week.